Hello, back with another VOD review. This is a Platinum Ana player. They said that they took a break from the game and have come back and trying to figure out what they're doing wrong. They said apart from their missed nades, they think that their biggest problem is like positioning. Um, it's weird to have a positioning problem on this map because it's so like linear, right? So we'll have a bit of a look and see what we can see. I guess I better double check this is the right player. Actually, it isn't. It's this one here. Yeah, it's this one here. They must swap to Ana at a later stage. With like positioning on this map, I guess like there's like really two ways that you position, right? You're, like either they have like a one shot or significant like poke range threat, in which case it's really difficult for you as an Ana or a Kiriko to like play out where you can be seen, right? Because like, you know, like if there's a Widow standing up there, like you can't really like take the risk a lot of the time to like peek her unless you know that other people are shooting at her, so that there's a lower chance that she's going to shoot you. But like if they're not running that, which like so far they're not, so far they're running like a Rhine comp, and it's like it's a bit pokey, but it's not so pokey that you're gonna get one shot by anything. Like it seems like a good comp for you to like play for damage as well as heals, right? And you've got a life weaver, especially on your team. And I know you mentioned in your post life weaver pulling you up to high grounds and stuff, which probably suggests the life weaver stays on. I think like a key thing with playing with the life weaver is recognizing that life weaver is going to have a really low damage output, which means that you need to like look for more damage, right? Like the reality is in this game, you don't actually need two supports delivering like huge amounts of heals through most of the game, right? You want like a main healer and an off healer for the most part, because it's inefficient to have two people that are just like focusing like 90% on healing. Because it kind of becomes redundant at a point. Like you need to actually have people that are shooting back at the enemy team, right? Kiriko is a great character to do this, right? Because as I'm sure you probably know, you can throw a kunai between healing without losing any healing uptime, right? So you heal, you throw a kunai, you heal, you throw a kunai. If people aren't taking a lot of damage, you know, you can heal and throw two or three kunai and then heal again. But generally speaking, just having like a shoot heal pattern is really good. I mean, this is like off the bat, yeah, like terrible positioning, right? Um, like we either want to like start from up here, we want to like start from over here, or we want to like start from down here. The problem with your positioning right now is like your nearest form of natural cover would cause you to like have to de-peak your team. So like if you take a lot of damage right now, like you probably are walking into here, or you might walk back and go into here, right? And it's not ideal because you don't ever want to get like stuck in this room. Obviously you can TP out as a Kiriko, but like, yeah, I think like, you know, you're starting from here, you're starting from here, you're starting from here, or you're starting from here realistically. If you do want to play like closer up, then you'd play behind the what is this, a car here. I was going to call it a truck. You'd play from here and like peek in and out for heals. Like we want to avoid standing, you know, out in open space like this, right? All right, now we're behind the car, so that feels a bit better. Now we're not behind the car, so we're taking a lot of like unnecessary chip and poke. I guess the good thing is with Kiriko's new sub role, oh my god, this is way too much poke. I was gonna say with Kiriko's new sub role, you actually get quite a lot of like healing from, you know, from just like healing your teammates, right? You get a lot of self heal from that. I think you get like something like 30 healing from like a full heal on a teammate or something like that. It might be slightly less, but it's still a lot. But what I'm seeing so far is a lot of heal botting, and I don't think we're throwing a kunai yet. So even if it's, to be honest, even if it's only throwing kunai at a Rhine shield, like ideally you'd throw kunai at some of the squishies, but like you're really not maximizing the most out of your character as Kiriko if you just like heal like 11 times in a row without throwing a kunai. So even if it's just throwing kunai at a Rhine shield to like slowly work down the shield, you know, it's like 45 damage each time. Other people probably shoot the Rhine shield as well. Obviously, if you actually hit the Rhine, then that's good. Otherwise, like ideally, as I said, you would aim kunai at some of the squishies, right? Because a headshot kunai on any player that isn't like a tank can potentially swing a team fight. If someone else shoots them at the same time, then they die, yeah. But like this is a bit of an issue. One, like our positioning is really, really poor, as I said, but we've already gone over that. But two, like we've just like done nothing but heal bot this whole time. And as I mentioned, like you know, your life weaver is heal botting and you're heal botting. So essentially you only have 3 people in your team that are shooting. and that's like a not ideal situation. Your team does get an opening pick, which is good, but like, you know, here we should be okay. Heal our Sig and then throw a kunai at this Torb or at this BAP, or just help heal the turret, right? And then we heal the Sig and then we throw a kunai, and then we heal the Sig and then we throw a kunai. This is just like, yeah, you're getting like sort of like 50% of your character's value right now. We don't need to Suzu this. Okay. He's not antied. He might be half health, but remember he's a tank, right? So half health on a Sigma is still like over 300 health, right? That's not him. You know, this is nearly 400 health. And when does the Suzu hit? Now? Yeah. I mean, he's 325 health when the Suzu hits, right? So like it's not as though he's about to die. Secondly, like he's grasping when the Suzu hits, yeah? So like he's got his grasp up. His grasp is up for like a good second or two before the Suzu hits. So that's plenty of time for you to consciously be like, oh, it's okay, he's grasping. The only thing that could kill him when he's grasping, because they don't have any beam weapons, is a Reinhardt, right? But the Reinhardt can't do 325 damage in one swing or two swings. The only real threat here for him dying would actually be if the Reinhardt charged when he was grasping. And in that case, that's a terrible Suzu, because you would need to like Suzu the charge to either make the Reinhardt go through him, or if the Reinhardt does get the pin, then, you know, he would probably like pin him against one of these walls around here, and then you need to Suzu that. So really, really bad Suzu there. You're once again just kind of like out in the open in the middle of like nowhere with like no form of natural cover, right? So like your Life Weaver is positioning pretty well. Your Soldier overall is positioning pretty well because he can DP here, DP here. You and your Ashe are in a terrible position, and you always need to be standing near some form of cover, because you can't just take infinite poke damage all the time. Any time that you take poke damage and it diverts healing from our Life Weaver to you instead of our Life Weaver to someone else, that just decreases your team's ability to hold and occupy space. Like as Kiriko, you want to minimize the amount of poke that you take, right? Same with any support. Like you want to have as much healing as possible going to your DPS and to your tank, and not so much to your supports. We dodged that one, which is good. I think we actually threw one kunai there, did we? Yeah. I mean, we're not like hitting anything, right? But oh, that's not true. We hit the Rhine once, and we hit the Rhine shield once. But so far, it's a lot of really like passive heal bot motions. Right, we throw a couple kunai there just because we see him get knocked down. We can keep throwing some kunai. We can keep throwing. No one's hurt, so we can definitely throw some kunai here. This is good. All right. Yeah, and now, so there we actually took it a bit too far, and we threw like 5 in a row. Remember, like, no, we can't just like ignore our team. So we don't want our Sigma to go down to half health just because we decide to throw 5 or 6 in a row. So, you know, we can throw 2 or 3 in a row if we want. Heal 2 or 3 in a row, heal. But as our Sig takes all this extra damage and he doesn't get healed by anyone for like 5 seconds there, or maybe like 3 seconds there, you now Zuzu, which again this is another bad Zuzu because he's not actually going to die, right? All you needed to do was just like, you know, 2 kunai heal, 2 kunai heal there. So you want to say Zuzu for when people are actually either have an effect that needs to be cleansed or are really, really likely to die. And there's like both Zuzus, there was like a 0% chance that the Sigma died there and then, right? Your positioning is once again terrible. So right now your team is giving up space, but your team is backstepping. But the problem is that we've just watched you walk from here up to here. You're walking forwards while the rest of your team is walking back. It is not an appropriate time to try and take space. Additionally, like, you're walking so far forward that this is going to be your only form of good natural cover now. The problem with that is that the Emre can very easily swing this way and shoot you. What you need to be doing right now, because your team is backstepping, you need to also backstep, ideally not onto this, but you need to backstep around here, because that way if the Emre swings, if you're standing here and the Emre swings to here, he still can't hit you, he can start hitting you now. So it's a much, much wider swing. And at that point, you can just swing back to here if you need to, right? The other option could be if you want to give yourself the option to actually do damage and play an off angle instead of swinging close like that, you might actually come and you might play from around here, or rather around here, and you might throw some kunai and do some healing, and you can jiggle peek these corners a little bit. But here we just feels like we're in the wrong position, right? I feel like it's amazing to me that this Emre hasn't just turned this corner and killed you, to be quite honest. Or at least forced your cooldowns out. Obviously, you recognize that suddenly there's multiple people shooting at you, so you TP out. Obviously, TPing out is the right decision because you would have died there, but it's a bit of a shame. I think like there's so many things that we could have done better. I think first of all, like if we didn't ignore our sig for so many seconds here and he didn't get to half health, he might not have backstepped quite as much, right? I think potentially playing from around here would have given you an opportunity to maybe throw some kunai out and put some pressure out and do some damage. But what's going so wrong with your team right now is one, you've still got like essentially two heal bots on the team that aren't doing much damage. Not that they're doing a lot of damage either, mind you, but it's a Plat lobby. But also like you're playing with two main DPS, so two poke DPS, and now your team has gotten stuck on one angle. So everyone on your team is now playing the exact same angle and they have a Reinhardt. So this is like a worst case scenario for your team right now, yeah. And while you can't necessarily control like the positioning that your DPS have taken here, it's likely that if you played these sequences a bit better leading up to this point, your team might not have given up so much space. Because ideally, what you would probably want right now is for your Sig to still ideally be trying to play from around here, for you and one DPS to be playing around this angle, and for your Life Weaver and your Soldier to be playing around this angle behind your Sigma, right? The issue, I guess, with everyone here is one, the enemy team has to only worry about one angle. So if they peek out and take damage, they can instantly de-peek and like there's no one around here to like follow up on them. And two, especially because they have a Reinhardt, like I feel like you're all just going to be shooting a Reinhardt shield here, which is not ideal. It is a little bit hard to control space on a Sig versus a Reinhardt sometimes because I mean the Reinhardt can just like gradually walk on you. But I think that you've not really done your team too many favors there. The Ashe isn't going to die there, right? Like, so every Zuzu's bad so far. Like, he's half health. He's now more than half health, right? He's nearly full health, or she, whatever. They do take critical damage there, but like, I don't know. The Fire Strike would have hit them, but probably wouldn't have killed them. Now you're super, super low with no Zuzu, right? Your Sig is probably your Sig needs a Zuzu in the next few seconds probably to live. He gets gripped instead, but the problem with using Zuzu there is like I don't think it saved the Ashe. I think the Ashe would have gotten even lower if he didn't Zuzu because the Fire Strike would have hit, but the Ashe could have de-peeked and gotten a quick heal. Because you didn't have your Zuzu for like when the Sig really needed it here. The Life Weave has now gripped him, but obviously the grip is going to mean that you guys give up the cap, right? Because he can't contest the point from back here. So it's just gone. Not all of this is your fault. Like obviously, like your team didn't really like do enough damage output and take enough angles. You didn't really do enough damage and stuff initially, and then you locked in on the idea of doing damage and let the Sig get way too low before you started healing him. We played like a weaker, poorer angle here instead of like taking a wider angle over here, which might have also encouraged our DPS to take the angle. We got boxed up over here. We wasted a Zuzu, and so now the point's gone essentially. We can absolutely throw a kunai in between these heals. We still need to make sure we're healing these players up, but like any bit of damage can potentially be quite helpful to slowly push players back. Even if it doesn't push them back, even if the Ryan keeps walking forwards, even if you're not hitting kunai on the squishes, at the end of the day, even just for the sake of like maximizing your uptime on the character, your value, and building your ult faster, you know, like had we been looking for damage throughout this whole point in an appropriate way where we are like shoot heal, I mean at this point you're 82%. You know, I'm thinking if you had to just like in the first 20 seconds, if you had to throw in some kunai instead of just like heal botting like 11 times in a row, there's a decent chance that you would have had ult now. And I feel like if there's a decent chance that you could have had ult now, then maybe this fight looks a lot more winnable, right? Like you could have put a Kitsune Rush over here. That would have allowed you and Life Weaver to heal up the Sigma a lot easier, would have increased the damage output of your Sigma and your Ashe and all that sort of thing. So while like your team made mistakes, I think like you also like could have done so much more to help this team fight, right? So it's another bad Zuzu. Like, okay, like he's half health, but like, you know, you got to ask yourself like, if I'm Zuzuing, am I Zuzuing to save him, right? Because if you think that you're Zuzuing to save him, then you're not saving him, right? Like maybe there was some argument for the Ashe Suzu here, because if the Ashe did get hit by the Fire Strike and the Emre shot her at the same time, maybe the Ashe dies here. But again, we're back to this issue of, well, our tank's half health, so I guess I'll Zuzu him. But like, what is half health on a Sigma, right? It's 300 health. Nothing is going to kill him like instantly, right? So we don't need a Zuzu here. We probably could have used a Zuzu there, right? Because he's not taking enough damage to warrant it here, right? The majority of the DPS from the enemy team are not looking at our Sig when we Zuzu, okay? So the Zuzu lands right now. Let's look at where the DPS are, okay? The Emre cannot see the tank right now. So we're not blocking damage from the Emre. This guy actually can't see the tank right now either, but he will be able to in like 1 second's time. So we're really only Zuzuing a Ryan's damage at this point. And again, the Ryan can't do 300 damage instantly unless he like pins. And if we're worried about the pin, then we need to actually hold the Zuzu for the pin, right? The issue is like we use our Zuzu really, really early here, and then the DPS swing and start shooting him. And now we don't have a Zuzu for when we actually need it, right? How the fuck did you not die to the pin? I guess he just can't. Oh, because he had the overhealth. Right. Yeah, from the tree. I was so confused then. Alright, so we're still on Kiri. I'm back out now. Helping out a bit. The cart's still super far back, and because we know that there's one player on the cart, is our Sigma nearly back? He is. I mean, we do want to like start moving out and taking space. Also, we killed their BAP at some point during the last fight, maybe around the same time that your Ashe or Sigma died, I forget. So BAP's back now. Is there someone missing? Oh, Torb must have died while I was skipping ahead. So assuming that you know that Torb's died, because I skipped ahead so I didn't see that in the kill feed, like we do kind of want to like start to walk out here, right? We really want to start to walk out here. Ideally, we don't want to keep giving up like infinite cart push. Yep, nice. Good kill, good kill. How did you let your Life Weaver die though? So your Life Weaver's obviously gone up into the sky, which is probably the wrong choice against the Emre when he could have just stood down here. I don't think we heal our Life Weaver at all though. No, we don't. It's a mistake from our Life Weaver, but it's also a mistake from you. Although you end up like trading and getting the kill, a support for a DPS is usually not a good trade. My question would be like skip ahead. You recognize that the Life Weaver is getting shot at a few seconds before this, right? So we walk out. We see he's critical. We heal Ashe once. We heal Life Weaver once. All right, and then we stop looking at Life Weaver. But we can hear that the Emre is shooting, right? Even without the benefit of walls, we can hear that the Emre is shooting. He's not shooting us. The Ashe is already backstep. The Ashe is behind you. I think we need to be like, who could the Emre be shooting? You know what I mean? I feel like although your Life Weaver ends up making a mistake by going up on the pedal, up airborne against a hit scan, sometimes as supports we need to save each other from making mistakes, and I feel like you probably could have saved your Emre there. Torbjorn's behind you. Well, it would have been a good Zuzu if you hit it. I was about to say this is a good Zuzu, but unfortunately you miss it. I think you're like going for a direct here or something. I don't know. Just throw it at the ground, right? That's a shame. I feel like missing that Zuzu has actually probably just cost you guys the team fight, because not only are they purpled, but obviously the Torbs walked up behind you. They don't have healing. They can't control space for a few seconds. This looks really, really bad. I assume that, the Torbjorn is just going to kill both, right? Yeah, that's the bummer. So, like, it's a combination of, like, your mistakes. Like, again, Life Weaver screwed up, but you could have helped him, right? These players have once again screwed up because it's two main DPS holding the exact same angle. Like, one of them can go over here and the other one probably should have been like on this angle to mark the Torb when he came up, and then they can shoot from here, right? So like, we don't want to see both of our main DPS standing next to each other holding hands, but also like, we also need to hit the Zuzu, right? And we also I feel like there's a good timing there for our ult as well, right? Like, because although they haven't used any ults, we have basically just let them push the cart uncontested ever since we gave up the very first corner of the map, right? So I feel like maybe there's there's probably like a timing right about, because we've killed one but we've traded one, so again it's not a positive trade for us because the support is usually more valuable. But I feel like there's a timing here where instead of sort of hanging back and sort of AD strafing back here, maybe we're walking forwards and maybe we're using a Kitsune Rush to just like get cart control again, right? Because once we regain cart control with our two main DPS, despite the fact that they have a Reinhardt, it suddenly becomes a lot harder for this Reinhardt. Like if the Reinhardt has to fall back to here, for example, even if they kite out the Zuzu, it suddenly becomes a lot better because like then we can have a hit scan retake this angle, start shooting down onto their back. The other hit scan can be around here or whatever. Our Sigma controls space. It looks good. So it feels like there's a good opportunity to use our Kitsune Rush here. So like we've sort of missed three things, right? We missed the chance to save our Life Weaver. We missed the opportunity to actually use a Kitsune Rush, which probably could have gotten some decent value here. I assume that what would happen is either the Reinhardt would shatter the Kitsune Rush or the Anna would nano the Rhine, but the Sigma Shield is already here, so they can stand behind that if they need to block the Kitsune Rush. What you would do is like you would Kitsune Rush, instead of like sort of lingering here and walking left and right, you would walk forward with your team. You would put the Kitsune Rush out here, and then you would D-pick to this angle, so we wouldn't greet it and try and like shoot our kunai and the Kitsune Rush just because we know that the Rhine has Shatter. Instead, what we would do is we would try and line a sight the Rhine, and then be prepared to Zuzu the Shatter if he decides to use it. You could also like heal the Ashe from this direction while pocketing both of these players and just like peeking in and out from here. So a lot of like optimization that could happen there, but unfortunately, we kind of like don't do any of it. Alright, we're coming back out again. Bob hits it. How's that Kitsune Rush here? Let's have a look at it. I mean, obviously it feels like a major desperation Kitsune Rush, right? Like you're very, very close to Ajaxing it. So if you're not familiar, that basically means that you die while using your ultimate. And that's because you peak pretty hard here. You get down to 45 health, so there was a shot that literally just buzzed past you here and probably could have killed you and made you lose the ult. It doesn't feel like a winnable situation here, to be honest. Like maybe it's a case of shit, like we've just given up 2 points in a row and I haven't used Kitsune Rush, but like if you're keeping track of your respawn timings, like I know Ashe gets a bob out here, but I would be beyond amazed if your team can win this, to be honest. Like I feel like this is a bad ult from you and a bad ult from the Ashe. Having said that, because you've used ult, sometimes that means our team is like, oh shit, we're using ults, I better use my ult too, right? Whereas I would be beyond amazed if this ends up being a team wipe here. As in a team win, sorry. So Bob's already dead, Bob's instantly dead, you're dead. Ashe is dead, it's over, yeah. So like I like the idea of contesting the point, like, and if your team was actually further up, like if not for the fact that your Sigma is so far behind you when you use your ult, right? Because we use it here, like our team is in a position to follow up. So we need to be aware of like the positioning and how far behind our team is when we're thinking about using an ult, because ultimately not only do we like fail to capture the point, but we actually end up draining our entire ult bank. So all three ults get used. I think that they use three ults as well, but at the end of the day, if one team uses three ults and the other team uses three ults, but only one of them wins the fight and caps the point, then obviously it's a win for the red team and not for your team, right? All right, so we're on Anna now. That feels like a really weird grip. Like, I know he's half health, but like you're both pocketing him. He just like loses the entire duration of his best ability, which is like fucking weird, but anyway, just Life Weaver things. Yeah, so I see what you mean about like your positioning. I mean, at the moment the fight's pretty far back, but like you do have a tendency of just standing in the middle of the street all the time, and as I've discussed already, we always want to have some natural cover near us. This is kind of a difficult situation to get value from as Anna though, because like you can't really peak this angle as Anna. Like there's just always going to be heaps of spam. So in an ideal world, like what you might actually have is, I saw your Life Weaver put a pedal here before. Like next time he does that, maybe like you can try and get up here. Because if you can play up here, it feels a lot better. You can obviously still take poke from these players around here, but it's really easy for you to just like DP it by walking around this way or walking around this way. If you absolutely had to, like you could nade for self-heal, but we want to avoid doing that. But you'll probably get more value from up here, especially if your Bastion or someone goes up there as well, rather than just like standing down here. Because as I said, you can't stand here because you're just going to get spammed out. Like every single enemy is going to be shooting this bit of floor behind your sig, right? So shots that miss your sig would hit you, but also if you stand back here, then you don't have an option to actually impact the game at all, right? All you can do from here is heal bot, so it doesn't feel great. And again, because we have a life weaver, like we don't want to heal bot. Also, it really shows like how little like damage and kunai you were throwing, that the life weaver has the same damage as you when you're on Kiri. So I feel like here, like, alright, so our Reaper's done a TP play and he's gotten a kill, okay? What happens when a Reaper TPs into the enemy backline, right? Most of the time the enemy reacts and a lot of them turn around. So like if you're aware of what your Reaper is doing, then this seems like a fantastic time for you to actually start swinging up and stand where like I didn't want you to stand 5 seconds ago, because the situation isn't the same as it was 5 seconds ago. Like, one, we want to try and help this Reaper get out because it looks like he gets out, but he gets out like by the skin of his teeth, right? Two, like with multiple players potentially turning to react to this Reaper, it gives us an opportunity to move forward and like maybe get like a high value nade, a high value sleep on like this BAP or onto this Rhine. Because if you could hit a nade onto this Rhine right now, the Rhine would probably die, like with the amount of like burst damage you have. I assume Bastion's form is up in just a few seconds. It's like 6 seconds away. I feel like there's a good timing where you could kill the Rhine or you could kill the BAP, because you could probably pretty easily nade the BAP from down here. Like you could actually just throw it against the wall when you're standing there, bounce it against this wall or whatever, right? I'm pretty sure you could also hit the roof here, to be honest, and it would still splash onto him. But it feels like, you know, our Reaper goes in, our Reaper makes a play, and like there's no like conscious reaction from you that this is happening until such a time as the Reaper walks back around the corner and appears on your screen. And I feel like this is the first time that you show any awareness of what your Reaper is doing, which is not ideal, right? Not ideal. And so who did we just sleep? The Rhine, wasn't it? Yeah, cool. We didn't have a nade. When did we throw out our nade? A healing nade? Nah. This is like the Zuzus, yeah. So, I mean, maybe it makes sense that you didn't take the wide swing then, because I didn't actually realize that you'd wasted nade then. So I was obviously giving advice that you should have made the wide swing when the Reaper's actually gone in and pulled aggro, right? But here this is the same as the Zuzus. Like, he's not going to die, okay? Like, you and Lifeweaver are both there. Yes, he's half health, but his half health is 359 health. Like he's totally fine. You know, like he's got his cooldowns available. Yeah. Like we need to stop. Yeah, wasting nades, right? Like it's just completely unnecessary. Whereas if you held that nade for like 3, 2, 1, Torbjorn kill should be any second now, surely. Torbjorn kill. And then, okay, now like we take 1 or 2 seconds to realize what's happening. Okay, the Torbjorn's dead, cool. If we had our nade to actually push up and take this swing now, then we actually just lock down this team fight. Like it's actually just like guaranteed to be ours, I think, yeah. We end up hitting like a sleep on the Rhine, which is in principle still okay, I guess. But obviously like a nade there would have been exceptionally good, right? We end up throwing out our nade and it misses, but it's not because like we can't really aim the nade. Like this is obviously a weird angle to throw it, but like you wasted the nade earlier, so you didn't have it for when you actually needed it. And now like this window for you to like walk up doesn't feel as good. Ryan dies anyway. But I feel like the Ryan dies because like our team did all the right things and not so much because you did the right things. Are you going to help that Bastion or are you just going to look at him? Not sure like what's with the like we see that he's gone up, we see that he's in trouble. You like jump and you're like, oh, well I guess there's nothing I can do. And then you just like ignore him, bro. Like I know the life weaver's going there, but fuck, like don't let your Bastion get traded, eh? Alright, so again, like we're back to this like kind of shitty positioning. Like maybe we could use this downtime when we've just killed their whole team to like do what our Bastion is doing and walk up to here. Have a really nice angle at the start, And then once our team starts to cede space, we can drop down again, right? And then the pedal's already there, so when you drop down, you can go up and back onto here, right? Whereas this, it just doesn't feel like the right place to be, you know, like we don't want to just be like standing on the objective as Anna the whole time, because like it's the same sort of thing with how like initially I wouldn't have wanted you to stand here when the Sig was here and the Rhine was here, because like all like so much shots are going to be coming at the Sig and you're just standing behind the Sig, right? So whatever misses him is probably going to hit you. And again, we don't want to take unnecessary poke all the time. This is a terrible nade because like there's nothing that your team could possibly do to follow up on it. Right? Like you're nading people who are already like, even if the nade hits, okay, which I don't think it does, it hits the shield, right? But even if he doesn't shield, like, what does the nade matter? Like, okay, if you naded like the full health Ryan, like what would that translate into? I guess what would happen is that at best, the Ryan might just step back this way for 2.5 seconds, then walk back. Like it doesn't feel like good value of your best cooldown to buy 2.5 seconds off the clock, right? Even if you naded these players, because they're already walking across anyway and there's a Reinhardt shield, it's like, I don't see how anyone could have died from that nade, and I don't think it buys you any meaningful like time or space, right? It sounds like you also just threw out a sleep dart, or was that there, Anna? It was. I mean, you're like, what are we sleep darting, bro? Like, it's a Ryan holding a shield. If the sleep hit the Ryan, what would happen next? You don't have a nade to apply anti-heal. They have a lamp still because the Baptiste is only just respawned, right? So there's no way that he doesn't have lamp, yeah. Like what would be the value from these cooldowns if you landed either of them? I feel like it would be nil, right? Maybe like the nade buys you 2 seconds of time and the sleep buys you 2 seconds of time, but it feels like, you know, first of all, like had we have taken the good positioning up here, we probably would have a much easier time of landing our cooldowns, because we're not trying to like throw our cooldown up anymore, right? We're not trying to like throw a nade upwards anymore. We're throwing it downwards, which with an arcing projectile is always easier. It'd probably help you to understand a bit better like the positioning of the enemy team and recognize that like even if you did hit that nade on the Ryan, like it wouldn't have meant anything. Additionally, like as the fight starts to come in now, yeah, he actually backed up unexpectedly. I was about to eat my words then, but I was about to say, like, as the fight starts now, like, this is the perfect timing, but actually the Ryan's really backstep, so he just wants to get his shield and his health up. So you're going to have your cooldowns by now. But realistically, like, we want to be hitting these cooldowns as the enemy team is actually getting in and trying to occupy space, because there's no point nading someone that can just instantly D-peek to the right. We want them to at least be, like, partially committed so that they're, like, standing, like, here, right? Because if they're standing here, where do they go once they get naded? Like, it's quite a bit of a walk, like it's, you know, a few seconds to D-peek back that way. And with all your poke damage and your, you know, your Sig and your Bastion and you and the Reaper, there's a pretty good chance of converting that kill, right? So we just need to think about like, if I nade somebody, like, could my team possibly like follow up on it, right? I like this nade. It's obviously just like slightly misaimed, right? But you had the right idea. So I'm not gonna like nitpick your ability to like hit the nade. You had the right idea. You just threw it a bit too far, like forward or back. Because in theory, even though it probably wouldn't result in a kill on the Rhine, because they still have lamp available, like your Reaper is obviously getting pushed back. That would like scare the Rhine and push him back a bit, and it would also ensure that this Reaper doesn't keep getting pushed. So this feels like a better nade, right? We're sleep darting again. For what? Because a sleep dart when the Rhine was here, this would be good, right? Because it's a further walk from here to get around cover. But you've just tried to sleep dart the Rhine when he's like, where does it come out? There. Again, he's just not deep enough to like necessarily convert value from that. Like maybe if your Sig rocks him when he's sleeping, and maybe if the Reaper like gets a shot or two off on him, but even then, like there's a decent chance he just gets lamped, right? Like whereas when he's over here pushing this Reaper, that feels like a better nade because it's a longer walk for him to get back to around here. Oh, we also threw out a nade then as well. Let's have a look at that one. Oh, never mind, that's the same nade, my bad. So we've dropped. So our Life Weaver has forcefully repositioned you to a better position, okay? You're full health, Your Sig is half, but he's not going to die. Okay, he's got his grasp up. Okay, there's no projectile that can harm him. They don't have any ray weapons at the moment. He's all, and also they're doing a molten core. How long have they been doing that for? Okay, so molten core. It's almost 1 full second for us to react to it. Why do we want to drop into the molten core? We don't need to drop to heal our Sig. We can absolutely pocket our Sig from here. Okay, if you're worried about getting chipped, you can actually like come over here and do kind of like what your Bastion's doing and get a bit of cover from that, or you could like rotate back around to here and whatever. But like, we don't need to drop to the cart right now. We really, really don't need to drop to the cart right now. And we end up putting ourselves in a situation where like, there's lava, you're sort of like boxed in right now, right? Like there's lava all around you. If you don't want to walk over the lava, then you have to walk up here and then you have to walk back here. I mean, realistically, that's the best place for you to go right now. Again, you need to get off the cart because although he doesn't have Shatter yet, like if it was me, given that like he last used Shatter like a while ago, for the point cap for here, like I would expect the Ryan probably is close to Shatter at this point. So you need to get to a position where you can't get shattered. So you want to get off the cart. So right now you probably would rotate up to here and you'd use this pole for cover and you'd peek for damage in and out, right? Cool. Oh, lava. Oh my god. Do you know why he used tree then? Let's look at it from the Lifeweaver's point of view. Rhetorical question, because I feel like it's really obvious, no? It's not for the Sigma, who's full health. It's not for the Lifeweaver, he doesn't need a tree. It's for you. It's because you walked onto lava. He's trying to save you because he can't heal you without giving up. Like, he literally can't heal you right now. Like, he would have to, like, drop down here to heal you from where you're standing, right? So, into, like, one, like, we never should have dropped. Two, like, if we dropped, then we needed to be aware of where the lava was and make this rotation over to here, right? Because you've just, like, forced an ult, like, a really bad ult out of your team. Like, we want this ult for later on. We want this tree for later. You've also, like, had to self-nade because you're walking onto the lava. Doesn't matter that you walked onto it again because you're now in the tree. But like trading tree for or trading like lava ult molten core for tree feels like a really good trade for their team, to be honest. Because we would have liked to have had the tree for the Emre's ult, to be honest. You don't have sleep dart. Yeah. So I think this sort of like whole sequence of events is a bit unfortunate. And even here, like I feel like you get caught out without the sleep dart because you hit the sleep dart there, which is good, right? It looks like he's either trying to charge you or the Sig. So we hit the sleep dart. It looks nice. Obviously, it would have been ideal if we had have slept him and then naded him, right? Instead of like sleeping him and then walking back, because you'd already hit the sleep dart by the time you decided to walk over the lava. So one, if we sleep and nade him there, and instead of walking over the lava, we go this way, we probably just kill the Ryan here, because with the BAP's positioning, it's unlikely that he's going to hit like a clutch lamp right now, to be honest. He's a bit focused on this Reaper. It's like that was an opportunity for you to essentially like carry your team in a way, right? But also, like, you should have never found yourself in this position, standing on the floor with no sleep dart, because you shouldn't have dropped to the floor in the first place. And then, yeah, when the Ryan goes for the second charge, because we had to sleep dart to save ourselves before, because of our earlier mistake, we don't quite have it in time, right? Or did you get saved by Lifeweaver? Well, your Lifeweaver's really got you back, doesn't he? He's gripping you, he's repositioning you to better positioning. Why are we dropping? A few things with this, I guess, like, okay, so we get life gripped and that's amazing. We love our Lifeweaver for that. He's full health. He's not. We save him. All right, so we save our DPS at the expense of our tank, and then also because of our earlier mistakes, right? The tree gets forced because of you. The life grip gets forced because of you. Our Sig is dead because like our Lifeweaver has used his ult and his cooldowns to save you. And then presumably he's trying to like heal our Sig here, but our Sig is, he's getting shot from a turret in the back. He's getting beamed by like 3 different players. Like he's probably not gonna live that with only Lifeweaver regular heals, right? So like a lot has been put into this fight to save you from your own mistakes. You now need to do something to actually help your team and like essentially carry the rest of this fight, okay? I feel like the answer to that is not dropping onto the low ground. Your Life Weaver's on the high ground and he needs help. But you can't help him because he dropped to the low ground. No reason to go down there. If that BAP went up, you and Life Weaver would have easily won that 2v1 against him, right? It's also a shame because it still feels like there's an ultimate timing in here somewhere, right? Like, so we actually cancelled the Reinhardt ult. He Ajaxes his ult. You know, we dropped down again, but like, it looks like our Reaper is TPing, no? I wonder if like maybe we don't stay on the high ground here and then consider like nanoing our Reaper. I feel like a nano on the Reaper here, he would have easily cleaned this guy up and then he would have turned and probably killed this guy as well. And then you and the Life Weaver could have dealt with the BAP no problem. So like if you're on a high ground, don't give it up for no reason, I think is the moral of the story, right? Whole team dies. So far we've used one ult in, like how long have we been going for? Pretty much 6 minutes. And it's been a terrible ult, right? So I would go so far as to say that we haven't really used an ultimate yet because we used it in an unwinnable situation. I think arguably another pretty weak nade. Cool, this is fine. We need to deal with that. And then, so what are we trying to sleep dart here? So we just shot a sleep dart into a Sigma that's using his grasp. I'm not sure if you're aware how this ability works for Sigma, because I've seen you Zuzu your Sigma twice when he's using this ability. I've seen you nade him to save him when he's using this ability, and now I've seen you sleep dart it. This is like a Diva's defense matrix. It eats all incoming projectiles. It's impossible for the sleep dart to hit him. It will get eaten, okay? We need to like look for these visual cues, because I guess I'm being a bit patronizing here. I'm assuming that you understand what the ability does, but like somehow in your brain, you're not like acknowledging when the Sigmas use these abilities, right? Because again, like you keep Suzuing, you keep nading, you keep like throwing sleep darts into this shit. Like none of these abilities are needed. We need to like look at what's actually happening in the game before we think about pushing our buttons, okay? And yes, I agree, like your positioning here is still pretty poor. Like, you know, this feels like a terrible position to play because it doesn't hold up against Diva Bomb Theory. So Diva Bomb Theory, I've explained it in a bunch of VODs so far. Essentially, like, if a Diva Bomb was launched at you right now, could you survive? With your positioning, the answer is like almost definitely no, right? Recognizing that there isn't a Diva on the enemy team, Diva Bomb Theory applies to like anything that requires the ult to see you. So it could be like a Cassidy's High Noon, it could be a Sojourn's Overclock, it could be a Soldier's Tactical Visor, it could be whatever the fuck Emre's ultimate is called, I have no idea. But essentially like your positioning right now is so poor that like I'll be amazed if you don't die to this Emre, right? Like we've lost control of this corner, so there's really no reason to like play close right now. Your Life Weaver is in a slightly better positioning, but honestly like you should probably be playing from here. Or like, I guess you can't really play from here. So like you should probably be playing from here right now. And as they start to take more and more ground, your next fallback position would be back here. Or if your team wins the team fight, then you might take that opportunity to rotate up to here and you might play from here or you might play from back here, for example. Like this is a really powerful position as Ana, right? So long as the team fight is happening in this space. But with your positioning here, you know, like we waste our nade, we waste our sleep dart. Emre ults us from the high ground. He decides to, why didn't you nano him straight away? Nano him now. It's the delay, right? It's the delay, right? We had plenty of time to make that choice. So far we've still only used, I'm going to call it 0 ults, right? Because our Kitsune Rush was terrible. There was no chance that was going to convert into value. And we have just Ajaxed our ult, because although we didn't die, the person that we're ulting died. So this is a nano Jax right now. And you have kind of, no choice but to just like stand in the open. Life Weaver saves you again. But as much as I thought he would target you, Obviously, he didn't target you, but you know, like he basically like annihilates your Bastion. Sorry, he can't quite get the kill on the Life Weaver. He turns to kill you. Life Weaver grips you right as that heavy round hit, so he just saved you from taking like 220 damage or whatever it is, right? Like your Life Weaver is like actually doing work for you. But during this, of course, like your Sigma's died because everyone's looking at the Emre ult. Okay, so you have two choices. You're either pushing forward to die on the cart, or you're like trying to make a rotation onto high ground right now. I think the worst thing you could do is try and like jiggle peek around corners and shit, because like there's just enough time for your team to probably touch this, because your Reaper will be back. Sorry, not your Reaper, your Sigma will be back in the probably just in time to touch it, would be my guess. Yeah, so we're choosing the sort of like jiggle peek, play for cover. So again, we're either making it a firm decision that we want to try and get out and live and make a rotation up to here, where like so long as our team gets out in time, it's really difficult for the enemy team to kill you from up here, because you can just de-peek the damage. Someone would probably have to chase you up because no one on their team can actually access this high ground, right? Or the other option is we're just walking forwards, dying on the cart, and maybe we delay the cart by like 1 or 2 seconds, and then that gives our tank more time to push back out. This positioning, not good. So we just kind of stand in a position where it's impossible for us to live, but we also die late. Maybe we don't die, maybe, no, we do. I was thinking maybe a Life Weaver clutches it up and saves you again, but like you needed to either be on the high ground or you needed to be dead and respawning out, walking behind your Sig right now. The worst thing you could have done is essentially died late like this, because now it feels like, you know, I don't see a world in which it's possible for your team to contest this, right? Whereas like your Sig is back in time, right? Like your Sig can touch this, but you've really let the team down by like making the choice to try and like hide behind like a pillar that's like not actually a good form of cover, because this entire space is occupied, right? So the cap, bummer. I have a feeling everything on attack is going to be pretty much the same advice, but I'm just going to watch genuinely one fight and then we'll back out. We'll see how you take the first fight, because the first fight usually will set the story for the rest of the game. So we've got a Pharah now, so we've got a Sig, so we just shot the cart like 3 times instead of our Sigma. It's the age-old, like, even if this nade hits, what's going to happen? All right, like what's the outcome from this nade hitting the Torb or maybe hitting the Anna or something, right? The Anna's going to de-peek to here. She's probably not going to die because the enemy BAP almost definitely has Lamp up, because the game only just started. So maybe trading Lamp for nade is a good trade, but realistically the most likely outcome is that they take the 60 damage or whatever from the nade, they de-peek for 2 seconds, and then they just peek out again like nothing ever happened, right? It feels difficult to convert on value from one of these nades, especially with your Pharah's positioning, because she's too low to follow up. So even if like the Anna or something did like try and hide in here, like, you know, that would be fine if your Pharah was like hovering up here right now, ready to like spam in or like going over this direction. But like your Pharah can't follow up on it. Your Emre can't follow up on it. Your Sigma probably isn't going to follow up on it, because at his current health pool, he's probably more focused on living than killing an Anna up here on the high ground, right? So we need to like really think about value from our cooldowns a lot more. It's not that you should never ever throw out nades, but like it feels like a nade that your team could never get value from, right? That's unfortunate. That obviously like the Life of a pedal kind of like hucks you there, right? Bit of a bummer, and we have to use grip in the end. Is your Emre not like super low health next to you? He is. Another like feedback, I guess, is like we saw this before, where like, you know, you could have nanoed that Reaper at third point or whatever after the Sig died and after the Rhine died or whatever. But like, we'll talk about that in a second. I feel like you need to look at your DPS more, right? Like, as much as like it's important to keep your tank alive, like Sigma is probably not like a hard carry in this team comp, right? Like he's there to like try and make space and help your team. He's there to try and set up your DPS to actually do something. The problem here is that like your DPS are too low. Like the Pharah died standing behind you, to be clear. Like you were standing here, The Pharah was here. You were heal botting the Sig, and then the Pharah died. I'm worried that like this Emre could just like try and get one more little bit of value, peak, and then die to a headshot right now. The other thing is like your positioning during this whole fight is really poor, right? Because again, like thinking about Diva Bomb theory, like we're just out in the open the whole time. Like we could probably play from here, and like do everything that we were doing, and maybe even have like better awareness of our teammates. Because again, like our Pharah is dying behind us, and we have no like awareness whatsoever of like our Pharah's need for healing. Should they fly up with like 30 health in the sky against multiple hit scans? Obviously not, right? Obviously not. But like, should one of the two supports have healed them? Fuck yes, they should have, right? Like, of course. Like, she shouldn't have had to walk behind you guys on low health and be ignored in the first place. Then your positioning just feels really poor like throughout this whole thing. So we need to again like play near cover. Only now do you show awareness of your Emre, and I think that's only because you've decided to come to this angle for cover. Right, because he's been low health this whole time. It's only now because now you actually turn this way because you're like, I need to take cover, and you're like, oh shit, my Emre's here, and he's like 30 health. I guess I better heal him. You know. We'll wrap it up there. I think every issue that like we've covered is just going to keep being an issue throughout this game. So to recap, I think like we need to look for visual cues of what's happening in the game more, and we need to think more about our cooldowns a bit, because even though it might mean that at first you start to overthink your cooldowns and you're not using them as often as you should have, it's like every Zuzu sucked, right? There wasn't a good Zuzu. I think the only one that like made any sense was the one on the Ashe, and even then, like I wouldn't have Zuzu'd the Ashe, okay? The Zuzu on the Sig here was terrible. The other Zuzu on the Sig somewhere was terrible, because both times he was like using his grasp, wasn't he? Right? And I've explained what grasp does. The nades to like try and say the Sigmas are terrible because again he's using grasp. You know, we're throwing nades, you know, like long distance nades that have a 0% chance of like converting into kill or any meaningful value. You know, we're throwing sleep darts out into the Sigmas, grasp, defense matrix, kinetic grasp, whatever it's called. So we need to think about our cooldown use a lot more, yeah. But that also ties into needing to look at like visual cues of what's going on, so it doesn't seem like we acknowledge the fact that the Sigmas are grasping. The second thing is obviously positioning. I think like, you know, talked about positioning a lot, but like when you're on a favourable high ground at third point, don't drop down unless you absolutely have to, and you definitely didn't have to. And like your mistakes there led to a sequence of like a cascading sequence of failures that led to your team losing the team fight, okay? Because we forced Tree out because we walked onto lava. We had to like sleep a charging Reinhardt because we dropped down, and then we had no sleep for when the Reinhardt charged us the second time. You know, like we didn't take our opportunities to use our ultimates when we could have. But mostly it's this concept of like you just standing out in the open, like in the street phase, back at third point, just like standing. I can't go. What's the button to go faster? I forget. But just like standing out in the open, like around here. Like I know that you're like here and here, but it's not really like a good form of cover, is it? Like here and here. Like we want to get back to here if the fight's cracking down here. You know what I mean? So we need to think a lot more about our positioning, and we need to think a lot more about Diva Bomb theory. And then the third thing is mostly back to the ultimate. So try and like be a bit more like thoughtful and proactive at your ultimate usage again. Like there was a really good Kitsune rush timing here, but we didn't recognize it, and instead we sort of like 80 strafed for a few seconds, and then because like no one's pushing any buttons and nothing's happening, our DPS tried and take the same angle. We missed the Zuzu on them and then lose the fight as a result of that. I think the Zuzu itself wasn't necessarily 100% of the reason that you lost the fight, but it didn't help. And then obviously like we had a nano timing in our Reaper when we were like standing, I don't know, like I forget if we were on the high ground or the low ground, but the Reaper TP'd over here, and then there was a really good nano timing there as well, right? So again, we need to like think about our cooldowns a bit more proactively and think like, you know, like is this Suzu needed, or like will this nade or sleep actually convert into any value? We need to think about our positioning, we need to practice Diva Bomb theory, and we need to utilize high ground more, and we need to be looking for more opportunities to actually like use our ult and get value from our ult. Hopefully this helps. Good luck.